Thanks, Andrew. New tonight at 11, our I-Team pushing for answers and getting them. The management company running South Bend's Cedar Glen Apartments tells us it has a plan in progress to get the hot water back on at the troubled address. After weeks without a response to our queries, our Caroline Clapp went to the Carmel offices of the company to get her questions answered.
George, in part one of Running Cold Once Again, I broke down my repeated attempts of getting answers for people living at Cedar Glen. They are anxiously awaiting the day they can take a hot shower again. After getting no response from corporate management, I drove down to Carmel and did indeed come back with answers. I'm a member of the news media for WNDU in South Bend. Is there a manager or someone I could speak with?
See if someone's around.
That would be great. We're here in reference to some complaints for one of the properties BRI and manages in South Bend. Hi. Okay. Sure. I'm going to hit stop on the recording. That whole interaction I just had inside came 1 week shy of the 2-month mark since I submitted my first online submission form to Barrett Realty Investments. The man I spoke with says a statement is coming my way soon. In fact, the statement reached my inbox about 5 hours later. It includes a copy of a notice I'm told all residents received January 28th, which blames previous ownership and an outdated system on the issues impacting people living there today. It says in part, the primary causes of these ongoing problems stem from the age of the property, years of prior neglect, and extremely hard water. Cedar Glen was constructed in the early 1950s, and the original boiler infrastructure is now obsolete. Modernizing this system is complex and costly, and previous owners did not properly maintain the equipment, which has resulted in compromised systems in several buildings. The statement sent to me also states the current owner has spent over $500,000 in boiler repairs and replacements since 2023. As we mentioned in part one, people living at Cedar Glen tell us they have dealt with no hot water in the winter for years.
We still having the same problem, and it's every year at the same time. Why?
Kimberly Clark says she's fed up.
If I miss paying my rent or I'm late paying my rent, they'll hurry up and put a notice in my door. Talking about what I owe and whatever. They done got so good they email and they call, but I can't get what I'm contracted to get. This is crazy.
It turns out the state of Indiana has gotten involved in the past due to the insufficient heat and hot water. Portage Township trustee Jason Critchlow says in 2024 he advocated for the Attorney General's office to take action.
This was sort of a no-brainer because the Indiana state statute literally says, as a landlord, you have to provide hot water and heat.
He shared a copy of a voluntary self-compliance agreement the Marion Superior Court issued in August of 2024.
They are now under a 3-year compliance period with the Attorney General's office that if they have a prolonged situation where this happens again, they're supposed to be self-reporting that to the Attorney General's office.
But in order for the city or state to take action, Critchlow says residents must file complaints so the documentation process can begin. He recommends residents do that with the city and the Indiana Attorney General.
It's very important that people actually get an inspection done of this because that is what provides the proof. Because you got to understand, this could end up in front of a court. And a court doesn't want to hear about what you put on Facebook. A court doesn't want to hear about the fact that you called the media. The court wants to see documented proof. That's why that inspection is so important.
Meanwhile, Cedar Glen tells me they have a plan in motion in order to turn up the heat coming out of those faucets. The statement I received says buildings 1 and 1B have only had lukewarm water, but now it's cold. I'm told 3 new boilers and storage tanks are on the way with an expected installation of February 12th. Willie Waters, who sat down with me in part 1 of Running Cold Once Again, hopes that to be true, but he won't be around to benefit. At the time of this interview, he was days away from moving out.
I'm relieved because you know why? Where I'm going, I can be on the fish bank. I'm gonna be happy. My kids coming to get me, you know.
But even though Waters is no longer a resident of Cedar Glen, he hopes his neighbors will be taken care of. This is his message to management.
Do your job towards my neighbors, the peoples that incline to me and goes to my heart and I go to their heart. Help them. You know, don't worry about me. Worry about the ones that's still here.
I also heard back from the city of South Bend. They tell me their office has received 3 complaints due to the heat and hot water concerns and have already conducted 3 inspections. The city says if those violations are not fixed before February 20th, the city will start fining Cedar Glen for them. Again, according to the statement I received from corporate, new boilers and storage tanks are expected to be installed this Thursday. Stacy Kamansky says the person at the leasing office told her it will still be at least 4 more days from now before the hot water is back. Of course, we will stay on top of this and let you know as soon as the hot water comes back on.
Caroline Klepp keeping them honest. If you have a problem you want the 16 News I-Team to investigate, we want to hear from you. Please send your story to the email address right there on your screen, i-team@WNDU.com.